Well, good afternoon also from my side. Dear Federal Councillor, dear ladies and gentlemen, also for me it's quite an honor to speak here at this conference because we're very proud members of the association that is Swiss Sustainable Finance because we actually are a very mission-driven startup. My name is Tillmann. I'm one of the founders and the CEO of Yova Impact Investing. And what you can see on this picture is my son. He's turning 18 months this week. And as you can imagine, I really care about his future. And I'll tell you why that's important. So I've always been, throughout my entire career, I've been working in rather decently paying jobs, but I've never been very wealthy. So I've been faced with a very common problem, that is how to invest my money if I want to invest it in line with my values and want to invest it in a sustainable way, because I care a lot about my future now, especially about the future of my son. So I don't want my money to fuel things like climate change, which might undermine the quality of living of my son's future. So the problem, where do I have to point? Very good, thank you. The problem that I'm facing is actually a problem that many people today are facing that are considered retail investors, and that is that finance in general, and sadly also sustainable finance in particular, doesn't really have a lot to offer to retail investors. And when I talk about retail investors, I'm talking about anybody who would invest anything between, say, 2,000 francs and 1 million francs. And there are three examples I would like to give you. The first thing is that existing sustainable offerings are typically inaccessible to the retail investors. So if you look at the current sustainable finance champions that are out there, such as Glow Balance Bank or Forma Futura, they do a good job, they have good offerings, but they cannot serve you unless you invest at least 500,000 francs and typically more. And that's, from big parts of the population, is simply not an option. The ones that do offer investments for lower volumes, such as the Alternative Bank Schweiz, typically do so with non-competitive returns. The second thing is that typical offerings are not mass market ready. So I, as a not so young person anymore, still expect a digital solution that is modern, that is easy to understand, that empowers me rather than making it difficult for me to understand what's going on, and also something that is fun to use and engaging. And the third part is that I'm then typically pointed towards ETFs, so-called sustainable ETFs or socially responsible ETFs. But these, if you take a closer look at them, typically are not that socially responsible at all. And I can give you a very concrete example, and that is the family of the iShares MSCI SRI ETF. SRI stands for socially responsible. That is pretty much the largest or the most well-known family of sustainable ETFs. And if you are invested in a sustainable ETF, because you've bought it yourself or because you're using any kind of investment platform, chances are that this is in your portfolio. There's two big problems with that. The first one is that more than 90% of the assets, you don't even know what it is invested in because it's not transparent. They only disclose the largest positions that they invest in. And then even if you look at those positions, companies that you find are companies like Total, McDonald's, Pepsi's, and others of that kind. So if this is the green solution, the question is, what does the other solution actually look like? It's quite clear that this is not it might depend on your personal values. To me, I would have never considered this a socially responsible investment. So I was always left with the question, how can I invest my own money with a sustainability impact? Because I care about that. And that's a question that we at Yova asked ourselves as a team. And more broadly, we ask ourselves, how can we make sustainability in finance mainstream? Because it's quite clear, and we can see that with the broad membership growth that we have discussed today at this industry association. There is a lot going on in sustainable finance, but it's not really reaching the mainstream. It's not really reaching the retail customer or investor. So our answer to this question, how can we make sustainability in finance mainstream, is Yova. What we've built is an application, a solution that adds purpose and emotion to investing, turning it into a very emotional experience where you can achieve something with your money that's not only return, but that's also something that is close to your heart and close to your hopes for the future. And the way it works is very easy. Basically, you go to our platform on yova.ch and you can try that out anytime. It will just cost you 3 to 4 minutes. You put in your values, anything you care about. So these can be things like climate change, maybe biodiversity, but it can also be social things like gender equality or human rights, or maybe vegetarianism. It's totally up to you what you select. What our engine then does in real time is create a stock portfolio for you that consists of companies that share your values and work towards the future that you want to live in. And the important part here is this is not a fund. It's a stock portfolio. We select 30 to 40 companies specifically for you. It's fully personalized and it's 100% transparent. You can see each and every company that you invest in, and you're never left to invest in something that doesn't share your values. And obviously, since it's a modern solution, you can open your account and everything in a fully paperless way. So you can just do it from your couch or from the tram or wherever you do it. It's a quite fun and easy experience there, and it will empower you rather than disempower you. What you end up with is a portfolio that shares your values. You might invest in companies like Vestas. So this is a real customer example. You invest in Vestas. Vestas is a maker of wind turbines. So the next time you see a wind turbine down the street, you have the feeling that you're actually contributing towards this change to a low-carbon energy system of the future. Or another good example is Nibe, which is a company from Sweden that develops low-carbon heating and cooling solutions for buildings. Heat pumps, for example. So these are the technologies that we as a global society need if we take the Paris Agreement seriously. And you can invest in companies that push and promote and develop and commercialize these technologies with Yova. The way to make this possible is the technology that we've developed. So in the back end of our application, we run a software that is automated dynamic portfolio management. What that means, we can manage tens of thousands of stock portfolios on single stock level that are personalized for tens of thousands of individual users in real time at the click of a button with automated sustainability analytics to maximize your sustainable impact. We are one of 3 companies worldwide right now that can do this, and we're the only ones in Europe. And what you get, that's our value proposition, what you get as an investor is the duality that makes up impact investing. It's your return, it's a competitive market return, so you're optimal on a risk-return axis, but it's also your sustainability impact. And that is not an empty promise, that's actually something that you can check, that we can report back to you, because it's fully transparent and you know what where your money is and what your money does. If we achieve scale, this can really be a big thing towards impact, because one important thing to remember is that we're not investing in funds. If you invest with Yova, you become a shareholder of the 30 to 40 companies that you invest in. And as a shareholder, you have rights. And if you look at the Sustainable Finance Handbook that lays out in the lobby, you will find a whole section on exercising voting rights, which is about taking action and influencing global companies. This is about making capitalism what it was intended to be when it was designed, where the shareholders, where the owners of companies take action. And you can do that as a Yova customer. And if we achieve scale, once we reach thousands and tens of thousands of customers worldwide, we have a chance to really do something for the way that capitalism goes. So what we are after is nothing less than to turn impact investing into a movement, into a global movement. And we just started earlier this year. In January, we launched the platform. Since then, we feel like we're actually on a very good track to do that. We win lots and lots of customers every month, and we've already created more than 5,000 individual personalized impact investing strategies along the model that I've described. And we get more and more public recognition for that. So we've also been, as not even a company that's not even 2 years old, we've already been finalists in the Digital Economy Awards and in the Swiss FinTech Awards. We do that, and luckily we are backed by a world-class network. Because basically what we're out, or the way we see ourselves, is that we are a sustainability company that uses technology and finance as vehicles to reach sustainability goals. And we were able to do that because we work with the absolute leading experts in the fields of finance, in the fields of technology, and in the field of sustainability. And that both in the disruptor role of things, because we have successful entrepreneurs among our investors and among our network, but also among the established corporate scene. So we really hope that you will join our mission and our movement to mainstream impact investing, to make it a global movement. And you can do that by many ways. The easiest and our favorite way is obviously by opening a Yova portfolio for yourself. And you can simply try it out on your phone anytime. It's non-binding and free, so there's no risk associated with that. The other thing you can do to mainstream sustainable finance is to simply talk about it and visit events, and the fact that you're here today is already a good sign that you're doing that and taking that seriously, so I'm quite excited about that. But do that more, and we really hope that you become part of this mission to mainstream impact investing. Thank you very much.